Hello, my name is Soham. My registration number is CRK17CR037. Today I'm going to explain about exceptional handling. My first question is to throw an exception if N or P is 0 or less than 0, and to calculate N power P. Here I have created a class my calculator, and I have created a function type of long, and I pass an arguments int n comma int p. Throws exception if there is any error in n and p values. It throws exception if n less than 0 or if p less than 0. Throw new exception, and it will display the message n or p should not be negative. Else if n equal to 0 and p equal to 0, then throw new exception n and p should not be 0. This message will be printed here, and return long power of n comma p. If there is no error, it will print n power p. Yeah, you can see the output here. Successfully test case passes this and successfully executed. And my next question is uh, to pass to take two inputs from the user and divide the number without any if there is any exception, print the exception. Here I've started with created a class solution here, and public static void main string, and he created a scanner object and created a scanner class here. Starting with try, created two integers x and y. Int x is equals to sc dot next in, int y is equals to sc dot next in, and it will system println x by y. It will display the x divided by y, and catch if there is any exception here. This will catch function will catch this, and it will print the exception here. E dot get class to string replace first class, and catch arithmetic exception. For arithmetic exception, and creating object here arithmetic exception here, and that message will be printed here. System dot out dot println, and sc dot close here. Here it is successfully executed here, and this is also successfully executed. And my third question is, this is my third question, and question is to store the vowels, and ask the user to enter the alphabet and check whether it is equal to alphabet, it is vowel or consonant. Here starting with created a class invalid vowel exception extends exception it extended exception class here, and user function invalid vowel exception, and pass a string message, and this message is passed from superclass, and created a class vowels here, and created a scanner object, and to check the errors here I'm creating void check throws exception. If there is any error in the check method, it throws exception, and creating vowels of type character, and asking the user to store the values, and for that I'm running loop. There are 5 vowels, so that starting with I is equals to 0 and I less than 5, vowels of I is equals to scanner object dot next dot caret 0. This caret says that at 0 position which character is there, and system dot println asking the user to enter the alphabet, and uh, taking string m, ob dot next line, and m is equals to ob dot next line. It will ask the user to enter the 5 inputs, and if new string vowels dot contains m, then it checks, actually it stores the vowels 5 vowels, and it will check it whether it is equals to that vowel or not. If it's a vowel, it will display its vowel. Else get into this, and invalid exception case, and creating object here e, and it will display as character is consonant, and it will throw that error, and creating an object here vowels, bj is equals to new vowels, try bj dot check, and catch, creating an exception here again exception e. It will print the exception message here, and finally user to print the message whether it has any error or not. I am printing it as thank you. Let's see this output. First time I will ask the user to enter the vowels a, e, I, o, U. I've entered 5 letters and I'm entering as F. Here you can see that character is consonant. Thank you.